So, family, we find out that police in Kansas City won't respond to calls as retaliation against the Vulcanaire verdict. So, you had a police officer who fatally shot a man named Cameron Lamb, black man, and he was convicted. He was in some hot water, and he's going to be doing some time for that. And so, as retaliation, anyone who has criticized police in Kansas City has noticed the police have been less than stellar with their service. And so a man named Daniel Fox is suing the Kansas City police and also Kansas City because there was a break-in next door at his house, and the police not only did not show up, they intimidated him into deleting a Twitter post that was critical of the police's alleged interaction. And so after he had a bad interaction and after the police never showed up, he had to sit in a rocking chair with his firearm to protect himself because he was afraid. Later that evening, a captain at the Metro Patrol Unit left him a phone message. And the captain, who Fox later learned was James Gostein, said that the police had their hands tied and that they couldn't just enter a property without a search warrant, even though you're not asking them to search anything, you're asking them to check things out because someone has clearly broken in, right? And so Gostein was referring to the conviction by a Jackson County judge last year of former KCPD detective Eric DeVulcanaire. And so that name is very, very tough to pronounce. And I remember this name because this story is absolutely an update. I've covered the story of Eric DeVulcanaire several times because of what happened to Cameron Lamb. This black man was backing into his garage, and DeVulcanaire, for some reason, didn't realize that. And the judge found DeVulcanaire guilty of involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action and sentenced him to 6 years in prison. 6 years. And that was it, even though he had unalived someone. Only 6 years. And these officers are still upset. They are still butthurt over this, which demonstrates that it's less about doing your job and less about policing and more about forcing your brutal tactics onto the American citizen. This shows you a lot about police officers, that all the stories that you've been hearing about them that were negative were all true.